Hey guys, it's been a while. I'm gonna talk a bit later in the video why I haven't posted anything in a while. But first, I want to talk about Autospark build. The Autospark build I did in 0.1 patch, and it was great. It was pure glass cannon, but it worked really well. Essentially, it's a build built around Earthbound staff. Once you kill a shocked enemy, it triggers spark, and those sparks can shock enemy and kill shocked enemy and reproc themselves. In 0.1 it worked very well, and I was able to farm higher tier maps, obviously not mega juiced up maps, but the more monsters there are, the better this works. Then in 0.2 spark got nerfed in multiple different ways, or specifically this build got nerfed in multiple different ways. Spark lost the amount of projectiles, the mana cost got higher, the Archmage got nerfed, and Lightning Warp no longer created shock round when used on ball lighting, which was a big deal, and essentially the build was kind of dead. So in 0.3 Archmage got buffed, there are new stuff, and I wanted to retry the build again and see if it's possible, and the conclusion is I'm not gonna make a very long detailed explanation. I will show what I have, how it's set up, and I will include path of building import code, but know that this build is not very good. I'm only level 83. At level 84 I would be able to get a higher level spark and have a bit more damage, but in the end it's just not performing as well as it used to be. You kind of need to do more work and invest more to reach the same amount of power that this build had in 0.1 League. Maybe there is another better way to scale the damage, but the main way to get a lot more damage for this auto spark is to use Archmage, and in order to do Archmage you kind of need a lot of percentage mana on kill. I am currently able to sustain it just fine, but I do not have Eldritch Battery. Previously I did have Eldritch Battery and I was able to sustain it in 0.1, but now if I get Eldritch Battery I need, I would say, an extra 4 or 5% mana on kill, which is possible to get, but again it's a lot more effort to reach the same amount of power. Now Spark also has cold infusion, so I tried to build around cold infusion and the new Lightning Archon, which converts all the damage into lighting, but you cannot deal non-lighting damage, but you get more shock chance, which does help a lot. But I was dying very often. It's how many deaths I have? I have 132 deaths at level 83. By the way, I do weapon swap and even glove swap for tougher abyss rare monsters or some bosses. You don't always have to, especially if there are a lot of monsters. The sparks, auto sparks, just gonna shred most things unless there's like proximity thing or some invulnerable monsters. The gloves that I'm using is Killjoy. It doubles the amount of spark. It also doubles the amount of life and mana on kill you get, but you cannot use Life Blast. Your Life Blast does not recover life. However, I am using Flame Blast to heal me. Flame Blast, there's a new support, Second Wind level 3, which restores 2% of your life per 1 second of cooldown. And I made Flame Blast to have 25-second cooldown. So essentially it instantly heals, well, almost instantly heals 50% of my life. It does have a cast time, that's why I kind of try to speed it up a bit, but it's pretty quick and it's very nice to use when in combination with the Killjoy. And I do swap from Killjoy into Kitoko's current because these gloves are just amazing when you're playing lighting build. You do not lose ability to shock enemies, but you still gain ability to electrocute enemies, which is essentially enemies become staggered, and during that time you can do a lot of damage. The weapon swap is just wand and focus with damage. The rest of the gear is just resistances, life, mana, a lot of mana, because this is Archmage. You want to build a lot of mana, and you want to build energy shield in case you're gonna be using Eldritch Battery. And I tried using Eldritch Battery, just could not sustain mana, but you may be able to do that if you invest a bit more. You can actually get percent recover mana on kill on jewels from the Desecrate mods. Get a second jewel with that, a second ring with recover mana on kill, maybe on amulet as well. I'm not sure if amulet can have, but also needed extra spirit in order to generate cold infusions, which essentially give a lot more projectiles for spark and gives a lot of flat cold damage. I'm using siphon elements each time, shock, freeze or ignite, but mainly just shock in this case. It creates an infusion remnant. You can also have like a chance to create an additional or pick up them from further away as well, but when you are maxed out on a single infusion called infusion infusion, for example, you cannot pick it up again. That's why you also need elemental equilibrium, which means you get a random infusion instead. And combined with Stormweaver, you have 50% chance of collecting a random different infusion. And also I have for infusions these things chance to not consume infusion. There are a couple other things that you can pick up, and also like max infusion, which isn't really very reliable when you're proccing like multiple sparks per second, but you don't necessarily need it all the time. I also do have branching bolts. I think it's pretty important. Sometimes they will pierce through enemies and won't chain, but other times when they don't pierce, they will chain, and that helps with clear. Now, initially I thought that, okay, elemental storms I tried in the past, they were really bad. Turns out elemental storms are not that bad. They are actually doing just enough damage to create a chain reaction more reliably. And elemental storms is really needed for this. I do have arcane surge as well, but this is just a bit more extra mana sustain. It's not really needed unless you get damage taken from mana before life. There are many things that are not enabled, like this for example, or Zenith is not accounted, so the damage is not accurate. I don't know what the damage is, but I think in my first build it had like 7,000 average hit damage. I'm not sure how much damage am I missing compared to my auto spark from 0.1 version. But yeah, I will leave path for building import code in the description. You can maybe analyze if you get inspired by this, but I would not recommend this build unless you figure out a better solution. This build is a pure glass cannon, and it only works if you do enough damage. If you don't do enough damage and you are a tanker, the build doesn't work. The main priority is get enough damage, get enough shock, and then if you can figure out defenses somehow. So the reason why I haven't posted anything in a while, and I was gonna post a video before League launch, I'm finishing the first Blender animation, kind of meme animation. Maybe I can show some video. I basically finished, this is just like a test animation, just finished setting up the environment. Well, sort of finished setting up, and then just threw in everything together to see how it looks. I'm not showing what this is gonna be, just kind of an example. I've been working on this, and I was thinking that I'm gonna be finishing this right before League launch, but I got really bad tooth pain, and I was suffering tooth pain for over a week until I got antibiotics and strong painkillers, and that kind of took all the wind out of my hype for the new League launch. I didn't even want to plan new builds. And that's why I just picked up the Spark, because I knew that Spark was fun, and if I can make it work again, it will be fun, and it wasn't that fun. I didn't even plan any new builds, didn't even prepare anything, didn't even read patch notes. I just had no energy, just was in pain for a week. Couldn't eat well, couldn't sleep well, so it was just torture for a week. And then once the League launched, slowly started like getting better. I had to go to the dentist. I got shocked by how much it costed to fix one tooth, minus 500 euros. So I'm basically out of money right now. I'm gonna try to post more videos. I have to get back to grinding a bit. Now that the tooth is fixed, the energy is kind of returning, and not feeling like I'm dying anymore. So I'm gonna try to post more videos, and hopefully, I'm not sure when I'm gonna be able to finish the Blender project, because now I just want to play a game more, and the next build will actually be Mjolnir Invoker. I'm not sure if it's gonna turn out to be good or not. So far it looks like it could be okay, but we'll see about that. Once I start getting bored of PoE, I will return to Blender and finish that project and post the first kind of meme video. There's still quite a lot more work to be done, and then we'll figure out where to go from there, because I want to do more animations like that. But what I have in my head, I know that you can't understand what I have in my head and what it can be, but if it works out, I think it could be like a new video series that I could start working on. It doesn't rely on Path of Exile content, and I can just create my own content no matter the League time. You know how at the end of the League is just you get bored of it, content creators get bored of it, start posting less, and it's just not very interesting to watch if you are also bored. But if it's not really related to the League and it's just an extra content from PoE, doesn't matter the time, I feel like this is an untapped potential. But again, I first need to do the animation and to show it, and then we'll need their feedback and figure out where to go from there. So yeah, that's the situation right now. Maybe I'll find some more time to work on the animation, because you know how it is. Once the new League starts, you kind of want to play, even if builds don't work, but more ideas pop up and you want to continue playing it. And after this stream, by the way, I'm back to normal streaming schedule every day, and after this stream, just kind of continue playing the build, evolving the build, and it's hard to find time to work on in general on Blender when streaming and making videos takes pretty much all the time. So I'm gonna see, maybe I can somehow squeeze in maybe Blender streams to encourage myself to work, or to somehow split the time between Blender and playing the game and streaming. Yeah, we'll see. Anyway, the next video will probably be in a couple days, and will show the Mjolnir build project. Hopefully it's gonna work out, because I actually started another build, Living Lighting support, but that support just has no scaling. It's not supported by other supports, and it just doesn't do damage. I started the build as a tactician, you know, mercenary tactician minion build, but it's just not working out, and I just quit the build and started doing Mjolnir. So yeah, the next video will be most likely Mjolnir, unless I can figure out some other content ideas. But for now, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.